What you are about to watch is for entertainment purposes only and does not constitute any type of advice. Always question the validity of what you see and what you hear. Viewer discretion is advised.
As promised, today in Tyranny 190 will be no short of epic. We will cover the 48 laws of power by Robert Greene and how to apply them in the world of control and influence. But before we jump into the topic, I'd like to share with you about our current class, Freedom 320, which focuses on the power of literacy for freedom. This class covers power concepts such as why war is so profitable, psychedelics and the new economical awakening, drugs and conflict as policing economy of its own, the medical system as an economical system that is monetizing death and disease, religious institutions as economical systems who brainwash people into thinking that God needs their money, marriage versus union, why we must reveal the outdated system and how it can shift your economy, children and family as an economical system, distractions as an economical system, which include focus on video games, social media, and adult entertainment, which will affect you economically, the addicted brain as an economical system, ableism and excuses as an economical system, and much more. The link will be in the description, so make sure that you don't miss out. Imagine all that you have learned for free here. This class will go beyond what we have shared here as a free content because it will offer actual solutions to go with this information. If you're not ready for it but you enjoy the value you're getting here, feel free to donate. A link to donations will be in the description. Also, a word from our sponsors, Awaken ABA. These guys have lowered the cost of getting licensed to help others become intellectual and spiritually awakened. We take you to the self-actualization, but they take you to the stage of transcendence and teach you how to do that for others. There are no coaches or online gurus. They're actual licensed professionals under 2 regulatory bodies in the state of Oregon. The rules have now shifted, so if you want into the programs and licensing, you don't have to be an Oregon resident as of 2025. Anyone who enters the program before 2025 can complete the program, and when 2025 hits, bam, licensing begins. If you wait until 2025, then you have to go through the completion of the program first, which could delay licensing. Check them out. Links are in the description, as I said earlier. It is a disruptive system that will change the United States and the world. Now back to our learning for the day. Why would you want to learn about the 48 laws of power anyway? Well, because listen to the title. There are 48 unspoken laws that not everyone talks about. We'll talk about its applications, what happens if you follow them, and what happens if you fail to follow them. Hope that you understand that this game of power and tyranny is a very dangerous one, where although there is so much to gain, there is also so much to lose, and sometimes you can even lose everything. There are other tyrants waiting for your next move with intention to either move against you or benefit from your moves. Let's begin with the first law. Never outshine the master. What does that mean? Never show your mentors or others around your mentors or who know your mentors that you're better than your mentors in some way. What happens if you violate this law? At best, you get cut off from the game, but at worst, you would have earned a powerful enemy. Law number 2. Never put too much trust in friends. Learn how to use enemies. What does that mean? Don't disclose all your strategies to those who you consider your friends, and learn to work with other tyrants as long as there is a mutual interest. What happens if you violate this law? You get betrayed. Law number 3. Conceal your intentions. What does this mean? If you have tyrannical intentions such as keeping a watch on a certain part of the population, don't disclose that that is what you're trying to do. Instead, create a program that gives you the excuse to do so for regulation purposes. Law number 4. Always say less than necessary. What does that mean? If you over-explain, you will appear as suspicious. Sometimes, if you say less than necessary, people will ask more questions and want to know more, which give you the chance to not only misdirect, but to keep your audience engaged because now they are intrigued about what you're doing. Law number 5. So much depends on reputation. Guard it with your life. The last thing you want is some tyrant to pull a cheap shot on you and expose your wife's OF account and become the laughing matter. I know most OF models think that it doesn't matter, but your reputation will precede you. Law number 6. Create an air of mystery. What does that mean? Work on projects that you can only have talk about. Do some good charity work, but have these charities sign confidentiality agreements. Make some excuse to need confidentiality. Bring others to the project to justify that confidentiality. This will harness the attention of the public, curious to know what you're working on. Law number 7. Get others to do the work for you, but always take the credit. How? Teamwork. Have others do the work that you can't do, don't have time to do it, or don't want to do. Compensate them for their work and say, thanks to our team, we have completed the project. Be the spokesperson for the achievement so the public only sees you, so they associate that victory to you. Law number 8, make other people come to you. How? By any means. Charity work, strong opinions, promises, show the public that you're angry about their misfortune and how they are treated. Law number 9, win through action, never through argument. How? Besides pushing for your party's agenda, push for policies that benefit the people. Don't worry, when a judge from the other side blocks your law, the opposite party will be blamed and you will be viewed as a man of action rather than some politician yapping his mouth. Law number 10, infection, avoid the unhappy and unlucky. Why? I think this one is obvious. This type of people will drag you down and lead you to failure after failure. Their life is full of drama, gossip, and dissatisfaction. The last thing you want is to become one of them. Law number 11, learn to keep people dependent on you. How? When you meet people who provide a mutual benefit, ensure as much as you can that you do things for them instead of showing them how to get them done. If they figure out how to get it done themselves, they will no longer need you. They are likely playing the same game on you. Law number 12, use selective honesty and generosity to disarm your victim. What does that mean? It means that you must be firm and consistent in character as much as you can so that when someone attacks you publicly, you can respond as a generous and kind person. So if your attacker is smart, they will realize the game that is being played and back off, or if they are foolish, they will ruin their own image. Law number 13, when asking for help, appeal to people's self-interest, never to their mercy or gratitude. What does that mean? It means that if you're in a situation where others need you and you also need them, never do favors expecting to reciprocate based on gratitude, but rather have contracts and you only do something for them in exchange to be paid first, or promise to deliver something to you under legal contract. Law number 14, pose as a friend, work as a spy. What does that mean? It means that you must show your friendliest face, but always observe, knowing that these friendships are based on money and power. Law number 15, crush your enemy totally. What does that mean? It means that if there is a fierce competition against another tyrant, you must win until there is no chance for round 2. If you leave room for recovery, you will have a good reason to watch your back. Law number 16, use absence to increase respect and honor. What does this mean? Appear more busy and exclusive than you actually are. If people think that it takes lots of effort to find your availability, your time will become much more valuable, which commands respect. Law number 17, keep others in suspended terror. How? Exaggerate the risk that exists and claim that you are one of the few who's willing to take on them and face them as they are. The public will fear the consequences of the dangers going unchecked, and you will be likely to be elected as the solution to the problem. Law number 18, do not build fortresses to protect yourself. Isolation is dangerous. What does that mean? If you isolate yourself, you will lose notion of the world and what goes on outside your walls. You may also appear as scared. If you're a spokesperson of some type, show your face and show that fear is not with you, even if that's a lie. Law number 19, know who you're dealing with. Do not offend the wrong person. What does that mean? Be fearless, outspoken, and strong all you want, but never expose a powerful tyrant's game, because you will earn a powerful enemy who will aim to ruin your game for good. Law number 20, do not commit to anyone. What does that mean? Loyalty is for sale. As long as they keep paying you, it is there. We do nothing out of love and everything out of self-interest. Your assistance and mentoring goes to the highest bidder. There are no real friends in this game. Always remember that, and your time will be much more valuable. Law number 21, play a sucker to catch a sucker. Seem dumber than your mark. How? Act like you're clueless or vulnerable so that your opponents make their next move. By the time that they make their move, you will have been aware of their actions, beat them to the strategy, and then expose them with all your evidence to ensure that they face the harshest consequences and don't come back from that. Law number 22, use the surrender tactic. Transform weaknesses into power. How? Show other tyrants who may want something from you that you're willing to do something for them, but that you need a favor that only they can pull. So you surrender to their strategy. Law number 23, concentrate your forces. What does this mean? Form teams where everyone benefits from the rise of power so that your efforts, skills, and influences get you and your team what you all want. Nothing moves farther and stronger than a team with abilities that complement each other. The lone wolf gets crushed. Law number 24, play the perfect courtier. If the majority is saying that gender doesn't exist or the humans and lions share the same DNA, choose sides and make up evidence to support the side that you picked. The more independent thinking that you appear, the less followers you will have, which in turn translates to no power. Law number 25, recreate yourself. How? Get involved in things such as charities and then mention that you are thankful for the opportunity and that the charity is the real hero in this instance. People will view you as kind and humble, which translates to trust, which in turn translates into power. Law number 26, keep your hands clean. What does this mean? If there's any dirty work, have it done as a favor from a tyrant who specializes in this type of work. If you go the cheap route, do it yourself, and get busted, you can kiss power away and taste the fists of your enemies. Law number 27, play on people's need to believe and create a cult-like following. How? Paint the image of the good old days, whatever that may mean, and let them know that there is an obligation for patriots to restore to this level of enjoyment. People will eat it up, and you will become their savior. Law number 28, enter action with boldness. Why? Because hesitation is viewed as uncertainty, and uncertainty brings distrust. No one wants to put their trust in someone who appears to not know what he's doing. Even if you make mistakes, if you're confident enough and show that you are brave enough to figure it out, your mistakes will go overlooked and you will succeed. Law number 29, plan all the way to the end. Why? Because we know that paths and plans change, but if you plan till the end, you can learn to become aware of alternative routes and succeed, even if your original plan looks nothing like your new opportunities. Remember that flexibility fits rigidity. Law number 30, make your accomplishments seem effortless. Why? Because it makes you look confident, strong, and wise. By making it look effortless, you show that you know what you're doing and put on the disguise that it is easy for you. This gives you the expert aura. Law number 32, play to people's fantasies. Why would you want to do that? Because if you do, they drift into their fantasies and dream of you fulfilling them. Even if you get prevented by the other side, you can always point the finger at them and blame them for not fulfilling your fans' fantasies. Remember that it is easier to shift blame than to ask for permission. Law number 33, discover each man's thumbscrew. What does this mean? Find out what angers your fans, then blame the opposite side and their fans for provoking that frustration. Tell your fans that they have the right to be angry. Hell, tell them that you're angry too. This all plays too well into what fuels this weakness. Law number 34, be royal in your own fashion. Act like a king to be treated like one. How? By showing class and that you are the hero who becomes king and battles out all the wars that your fans don't want to fight but want to win. You will be seen not only as the hero, but as the royalty leader who deserves crowning. Law number 35, master the art of timing. What does that mean? There is a time and place for everything. Learn how to identify when the time is. For example, back in the day, blaming minorities was acceptable. Now it has shifted to blaming what others appear as majority and blaming police force. But that knowing when the public is shifting allows you to time things accurately, so you know what your next moves are. Law number 36, disdain things that you cannot have. Ignoring them is the best revenge. There's nothing worse than a simp who begs for something he cannot have. The best strategy is that if it is not on your list of things that you can take over through some power, either put them off temporarily or permanently. Let only on your radar what is up for negotiation. Law number 37, create compelling spectacles. We have talked about this before. Spectacles create distractions, and distractions are great weapons for you to establish your doing on the background so that less people question your doing or the doing of your team. There's a reason why the Romans had a gladiator fights. Law number 38, think as you like, but behave like others. What does this mean? Act and think however you want privately, but in the open, you are one of the good old boys. The only difference is that now you're empowered to empower the good old boys, so this gives them a reason to support you and allow them to carry your doing for what they think is their benefit. Law number 39, stir up waters to catch fish. What does that mean? It means that if you want to catch someone, you need a plan, a bait, a strategy, so you can identify who responds to what. This will show you who your opponents are and who your potential allies and favorable loan sharks are. There are no friends, but favors hold value. Law number 40, despise the free lunch. Understand that nothing comes for free, and that which appears to be free usually has a huge catch. It's okay to owe favors and pay them, and have others owe you favors and collect. What you need is legal evidence that those favors need to be repaid. Handshakes are as valuable as farts in this game. Law number 41. Avoid stepping into a great man's shoes. What does this mean? It means not to take on roles that you are not prepared for. In this game, sometimes other tyrants let you take roles that they know you will fail at because it will make you look foolish and fall off your game so they can take your spot to prevent you from moving up. Law number 42. Strike the shepherd and the sheep will scatter. How? If you're at competition, remember that your opponent's team are as strong as their strongest link of their backbone. If you identify their greatest strength and you can strike it into failure, their whole structure will fall apart. Just be careful, because there's no going back if you fail. Law number 43. Work on the minds and hearts of others. How? Ask the public what's more precious to them. This is done easily through media, the journalism that you and your friends already own. Then tell them that as long as you're in charge, they will have to pride those values over your dead body. Not only will this look brave, but also noble. And number 44, disarm and infuriate with mirror effect. How? Let others know that you care about the things that they care about. Be angry for them when the other side makes it difficult. For example, when it comes to people struggling with home ownership, let them know that if you're in charge, you will fight tooth and nail to make home ownership the norm again. Now, number 45, preach the need for change, but never reform too much at once. Why? Because the name of the game is pacing yourselves so that you won't have one or two fast accomplishments during your power and then flop because you can't come up with goals to fulfill. If you pace yourself, find help to set some roadblocks, it will look like a more heroic and meaningful accomplishment. Number 46, never appear too perfect. Why? Because people want leaders, not a god. By showing that you have imperfections and that you came from the good old boys background, your fans will be able to connect more with you. If your fans drink beer and said things that they didn't mean to, then you have done it too. This is also how you mirror others. Law number 47, do not go past the mark you aim for. In victory, know when to stop. Why? Because you don't want to step in the shoes of someone who was meant for that position. In this game, there is a bigger lion for every lion. It will not take long before you figure out your place in the food chain. Stick to it if you want your game to succeed. Law number 48, assume formlessness. What does this mean? It means to move where the trend and response from the public is moving, because in the world of power, things and strategies become outdated. You don't want to be caught up in a form that is now considered abusive. Other tyrants won't mind you being the example that gets thrown under the bus.